Hello YouTube, and welcome back to yet another edition of Stories from the Friendzone. This is the segment where we go to the Friendzone subreddit, and we exist in the internet. We float about the internet. We land here amongst all of the other websites that we could be on, and we see people that need help, desperately need help, so we help them out. Do you ever wonder if they think about you at all? Wonder how you're doing maybe, or think about how they hurt you. Maybe they're thinking about how much they mean to you and how they maybe didn't realize that, or in my case, she was well aware of that. Do you wonder if they ever think about you and what they're thinking? No, they are never thinking about you. Anybody who has gotten friend zoned, they are never thinking about you. The friend zone situation is a kind of a one-sided situation where there's one person who is deeply butthurt and upset about it, but there's another person who kind of basically does not care because they got what they wanted out of the situation. They have a friend that's going to hang around them and be nice to them, and once they're rejected, they're going to kind of slink back into, their own self-hatred or whatever it is, and they could be in their own, the person who got friend zoned, they're going to be in their own kind of weirdness. They're going to be, well, what are they thinking? Are they thinking about if they hurt me? No, because here's why. Because no one wants to think about how they hurt another person. And also, just because you had feelings for them doesn't mean that they had feelings for you or really could ever consider that kind of thing. In a sense, in some ways, it's kind of your fault or the person who got friend zone's fault that they got hurt. And that sucks. But that's kind of the way it is. If they think about it, they think about it for a very short period of time. Very, very small. And then they move on to other things that they're interested in. Most likely they're thinking about the person that they're interested in, and they're so obsessed and going crazy over that person rather than the person that they hurt. That's why it's best to move on. Once you got friend zoned, that right there is the reason that you should move on, is because they're literally not thinking about you. Why would they? That's kind of a waste of time for them. They could be thinking about something else or doing something else that they cared about, and you should be doing the same. Posted by the same person, and also number 2 top post this week. Have you ever had a moment when you hear that song or artist that reminds you of them, that one that maybe you listened to with them or they introduced you to, and now all you think about is them whenever you hear it? Ouch. Yeah, I know what you mean. Why would she, 33F, not let me, 40M, know that she had a boyfriend who'd be joining us for the coffee meet? Also, subsequently, why would she ask me to invite her to future social get-togethers and tell me that her and boyfriend would come unless he couldn't be bothered and then just she would attend? After losing weight and regaining confidence, I, 40M, decided to contact an old crush, 33F, and suggested we meet for a coffee. She said yes, and we set a date and time to meet in a park. My crush is a work colleague who I met circa 5 years ago. She had a boyfriend when I first met her, who she split with 2 to 3 years later. For the last 2.5 years, she has been working in a different department, and I no longer saw her daily. We bumped into each other from time to time and always spoke when we did. Despite not having asked her on a date, I think she may have known that I was attracted to her, as I've previously offered to help her move flat, invited her hiking with friends, and invited her to social events. I believe that she's shown signs of liking me as possibly more than a friend, albeit several years ago. I've caught her staring at me on numerous occasions. She once let me know which evenings she was free for after-work socials. She laughs at all my jokes. She's invited me to drinks with her friends, and she said that she'd like to sit next to me at a works meal. Foolishly, I didn't proactively contact her over the last 2.5 years, until now, due to being embarrassed about having put weight on, becoming scruffy in appearance, and not being comfortable with myself. When I arrived in the park to meet her, a man was sat with her, unexpectedly, as she hadn't mentioned anyone joining us. As I approached, she was sat facing me on the right-hand side of a picnic blanket. The man sat facing me on grass to the left-hand side of the blanket. After elbow bumping her and the guy, I sat on the blanket and she said to me, "It's been a long time, Dave." She then sat up straight and said, "How are you?" in a heightened tone. We spent the next 2.5 hours talking as if time hadn't passed since we last met, about old times, and laughing. I brought the guy into the conversation so as not to be rude. At the end of the 2.5 hours, she suggested that we go to a coffee hut where the conversation continued in the same fashion for a further hour. At the end of the hour, she said that if she was arranging any future get-togethers with her friends, she'd invite me. I left the park pleased to have seen her, but feeling sad that the guy was probably her boyfriend and thinking I had missed my chance. However, due to her not having mentioned to me that she had a boyfriend during arranging to meet, or that the guy with her was her boyfriend and them not sitting close to each other, the optimist in me thought they may just be good friends. 10 days passed, and the question, "Is he her boyfriend?" played on my mind. I phoned her and told her, "I'd like to ask you out for dinner, but don't know if you are in a relationship and don't want to cause any friction." She replied, "You met him. Charlie is my boyfriend." I replied, "Yeah, I did meet him, but it wasn't clear to me." She replied, "I introduced you. We got a place together before lockdown." I replied, "It wasn't clear to me, perhaps confusion on my part." She replied, "It's okay, forget it. Okay, this is what to do. Invite me to social events and Charlie and I will come. If Charlie can't be bothered, then I'll just come." Nervous laugh by her. I replied, "Okay, I'm glad you're happy and I hope you continue to be happy. Speak soon." I then ended the call. I am now left with regret due to not making my intent or feelings clear several years ago. Yeah, that's when it'll get you. Yeah, I mean, you missed the boat. I mean, the time to say something to her was, I mean, from what I can see, she was attracted to you, right? She was laughing at all of your jokes, invited you to drinks with her friends. Sit next to you at a works meal. I mean, yeah, here's the thing. You got too friendly, right? I mean, but here's what's really going on, right? Is that forget the thing with the gaining weight, and I'm sorry about that, and I hope you get to take care of that. But I think there's a more major issue with self-confidence and, being confident in who you are as a person. Because she was into you, it looks like, 2.5 years ago. And it honestly kind of looks like that she might still be into you, but kind of possibly, unfortunately, is with this Charlie guy. I don't know. I mean, the thing with relationships right now is, in lockdown, it's like you're kind of stuck with who you're stuck with. And if you were in a relationship with them for 3 months and moved in with them before the lockdown happened, then you were kind of stuck with that person. Sometimes, for better or for worse, you know what I mean? So I think your kind of situation overall, right? Maybe with this person, but I think overall is that you kind of get to a situation where something is possible for you. And then for whatever reason, you back away from that possibility because that's scary. Like the prospect of her actually being into you and liking you and you all going out is like, that's a scary thing for you. So I would ask you to, look at some of those aspects, and maybe, losing weight or working out more, or that would kind of give you some confidence in yourself, and just really just the reps and the opportunities to go up to people and just tell them how you're feeling and tell them what you're really thinking. I mean, but here's kind of what I'm saying in this particular case is look, if she had a boyfriend and she was comfortable with him, she was into him and all that kind of stuff, she wouldn't really be fucking with you unless she thought that you were a really good friend, or you were gay, or you had a girlfriend or boyfriend or whatever it is. She wouldn't be fucking around with you if she was secure in her own relationship. But here she is on this phone call saying, hey, look, well, invite me and then Charlie will come because obviously he's my boyfriend. But if he can't be fucked to do it, then I mean, I'll just go. You know what I mean? So, I mean, there's still a possibility here, but I think the more core issue is that you have to kind of focus on yourself and establish a sense of self. And you have to know who you are and be confident in that, because then when this situation crops up where she's laughing at all your stupid jokes and wanting to sit next to you at a works meal or whatever, is then you can ask her out on a date and be sure about that. So I would say look into that a little bit. You can do it, man. Because what you don't want to have is this right here. You don't want to have the regret for the rest of your life. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not just saying with this chick, I'm saying with anybody. You want to be able to do what you intend to do, and make that your mission. Make it your mission to make your intents and feelings known throughout your life, with every part of your life, because it's gonna suck way more living with the regret than it is going to sting for a relatively short while if you happen to get rejected. And you know what? If you do get rejected, then that just brings you closer to who you're supposed to be with. Oh, here we go. This is the same person as... This person is very popular this week. Just a little rant. Doesn't it hurt when you meet someone who's absolutely fucking perfect in every way and you actually fall in love with them, only to find out that you never mattered to them at all? And they were so perfect that you just can't find anyone that's just as great as them, that makes you feel just as happy and in love as they did. What is this person on about? This person found one person and was like, oh my God, this person that doesn't want to have anything to do with me at all is the most perfect person in the world. It's impossible. Don't do that to yourself. Don't look at someone. I mean, it's also kind of pointless to look at somebody and say they're perfect. No one's perfect. Absolutely no one is perfect. Think about the most perfect person that you can think of right now. Think about the best looking person. Think about the most perfect person in any way. It doesn't matter if it's a celebrity, if someone you idolize, someone that you follow anywheres. It's your deepest crush and the person that you are most in love with, and you think of that person that you believe has zero flaws, or you think is completely perfect in every way. Now imagine them sitting on a toilet and taking a shit. Imagine them having complete diarrhea, okay? Because guaranteed, this has happened. This has happened before. People shit, dude. It just happens. People have diarrhea. Like, it's happened before. There have been situations, even the most perfect person that you can think of, Robert Downey Jr., for example, he's had diarrhea before. Scarlett Johansson, she has had terrible bubble guts at some point, I promise you. You can't look at a person and say they are perfect. They are fucking perfect in every way, because they're going to have flaws. And look, not that having diarrhea is a flaw or taking shit is a flaw, as everybody does it, but I'm just saying is that it's kind of pointless to put someone on such a high pedestal when in fact is like they are sitting at the same level that you're on. I mean, they put pants on every day just like you do. They have likes and dislikes and personalities, and they have things that they're into and they're not into. You could look at someone who's the most perfect person in your eyes, and you could have something that you really enjoy, some hobby or something like this, or some maybe like anime or baseball or who knows what it is, and that person that was the most perfect person in every way could look at that and be like, I don't like that. That's lame. I think that's stupid. And then what would you think? What would you think about that person? That person they couldn't be perfect to you because they're taking something that you're interested in and they're diarrheaing all over it. You never mattered to them at all. They're not perfect. Someone who is perfect to you, I mean, no one's going to be perfect, but someone who is perfect to you, you are going to matter to them. You are going to be a person to them. You are going to be the person that they think about. If they end up hurting you, they will care. They will care if they hurt you. That's how you know when someone is good for you. I don't want to say perfect, but it's good to be invested in a person who is willing to invest in you. Now stop posting so much. What the fuck do I do now? I, 25F, and my friend, 25M, have known each other for over 7 years. We became inseparable at some point when we were roommates. I moved out and eventually expressed my feelings for him 3 years ago, and he was vague about how he felt and told me he just wanted to be friends in the meantime. Fast forward to 2020, I break up with my boyfriend and start hanging out with this friend again on a daily basis. We're doing things together, spending quality time, doing slice of life shit and loving it. It wasn't until October of 2020 that we hooked up. Never had we done anything, and he's always expressed his disinterest in physical affection towards anyone, but now he's all over me. Since October, he's been all over me, super affectionate, great partner, etc. We went on a trip this past Thanksgiving week, and he asked me if I would like to move across the country with him once he was done with graduate school. I said I would, since I am already done with graduate school and have my shit together. And shit, who wouldn't love to move to another state with the love of their life, am I right? However, both of our parents think we're dating. His mother thinks I'm some sort of whore, Catholic older lady, super religious nut, lol, and my parents really like him. We were having a conversation and he said, well, I hope they, my parents, don't expect me to be your boyfriend. And I'm like stunned by what he said. Like, where the fuck do I go from here? Have I been blind this whole time, or is he a fucking idiot and doesn't see that I am basically playing the role of a significant other in his life? Am I the fucking idiot, or is this guy full of shit? Please give me some advice or comment on this because I've been tripping since his clusterfuck of a conversation. Yeah, I mean, he's a fucking idiot. I mean, are you an idiot? I kind of place this on the guy, right? Have you guys ever had a conversation about this? Here's why he's an idiot. Because what does he expect? What does he expect if you drop everything, pick up all your shit, move across the country, live with him? What's going to happen if he finds someone that he wants to date? I mean, you're a woman, assuming you're heterosexual, and same with him. Maybe he is, maybe he's not. I don't know. But then what's going to happen if he's interested in someone or someone's interested in him and he's trying to bring other girls over or something like this? Listen, plus his mother is Catholic. He might be Catholic. He might have some issues. And I mean, some kind of like real deep-seated, okay, I'm kind of leaning towards the gay thing, just being honest. Nah, I'm kidding. But yeah, he sounds like an idiot. He can't say that to your face while you guys have been intimate and stuff like this, and traveling for Thanksgiving and asking for you to move across the world with him and shit like this. I mean, he can't expect that you're not going to be upset about that, right? You guys need to have a conversation. You need to talk to this guy before you do anything. If you have your shit together, if you got a job or whatever, you're doing your thing, you got to talk to this guy before someone gets hurt. You got to drop this guy. I just say talk to him, because it sounds like this is October 2020. This happened a month ago. This happened 2 months ago. So, okay. How about this? Chill out for a second. Right now, you guys are friends with benefits, okay? I gotta step back a couple steps. You have had strong affections for this guy for 7 years, okay? So you gotta keep that in check for a second. He is possibly in a situation of convenience where he's got a chick that's into him. She's willing to have sex with him. He's kind of in this zone where he's like, well, this is like a friends with benefits kind of thing. And maybe he thinks he can still bone across the country while you're living with him. And then when he gets an actual girlfriend, then he's like, he's going to kick you to the curb. Or you guys are just roommates at that point still, right? Because you guys are still roommates. Okay, I got a better handle of the situation. He's probably not gay. He's just, I think you're kind of wrapped up in the romance, and he might be in a friends with benefits type situation. So talk to this guy, get a real handle on him, and yeah, before you move across the country, get that shit figured out. Oh my god, the long ass post. This friend zone thing is all new. Did I overreact? So about a year ago, I started texting this girl I knew from my childhood. We were like childhood friends, but our families knew each other a lot. Like almost every day, and eventually I fell for her, and for the good part of 2 months I dreaded telling her how I felt about her for fear of rejection, that she didn't feel the same for me. Anyways, I was encouraged to do because throughout our texts we were indirectly flirting and all. So one day I told her how I felt, and she told me she saw me as a brother, basically a nod to us knowing each other since childhood, and also worth mentioning, we are not biologically related. I was hurt, needless to say, as over the months I poured my heart and emotions into what I thought was going to blossom into a relationship. Anyways, since over the course of the friendship leading up to me telling her how I felt, I basically sent her money several times, with her asking, even buying her a new phone after she requested as her phone broke down. Again, this is all before she friend-zoned me. I never wanted to guilt trap her into getting into a relationship with me because of my generosity, so I told her she should be honest with me about how she felt. I didn't want her liking me for the wrong reasons, and that it's okay I wouldn't get hurt by what she says. I didn't want her to feel guilty or ungrateful for rejecting me despite all my generosity. As I stated, she said no, which while I was heartbroken to hear, as I thought it weird that her reason was that again she saw me as a brother. Anyways, despite hurting, I told her it's okay, her decision doesn't mind, we stop being friends. If anything, I respect her for being honest with me and also her decision. Obviously, the girl I really liked doesn't reciprocate my feelings, so in an effort to heal myself, I distanced myself somewhat, not texting as much I used to, and ignoring her stories on WhatsApp. As time passed, she will text me, "I've missed you," to which I will use wit to ignore and just engage in casual How was day? Sort of texts. She just kept on sending me those "I've missed you" texts anytime I, for instance, sent like a meme or asked her a random question. Short story, she once again sent those "I've missed you" texts a couple days ago, and I just finally snapped. I sent her a couple of audio clips, tried to call, but it never goes through. I'm overseas. In these clips, I told her that unbeknownst to her, I indeed was hurt for the past 2 months since she basically friendzone/brother-zoned me. And it was only these past weeks when I could finally move on. And that her "I've missed you" texts were really manipulative on her part. As she obviously doesn't fancy me romantically, so why should I continue to waste my emotions and energy as I did in the past to pursue/impress her? I had always been considerate of her feelings, but here she is, unable to for once consider what I might be going through to deliberately limit my texting with her. I told her to stop trying to lure me back, as there's no use. To which she literally asked me, "Do you still have feelings for me, or are you trying to suppress it, or you're over it now?" At that point, I lost it and flat out told her I'm not only over her, but also don't think that we actually are compatible. I say this as I just realized she's really manipulative and doesn't care about my feelings at all. That's really the story. Was I justified in lashing out at her like that? Oh, dude. Okay, look, is she manipulative? Possibly. However, I'm only reading your side of the story, and I'm pretty upset at you, dude. I gotta tell you, I'm pretty upset. Dr. Robert Glover's No More Mr. Nice Guy. Borrow it from your local library. Get the Libby app if you all have that where you're at. Come on, dude. You're overseas. Like, what are you doing? Here's what I'm getting at with the No More Mr. Nice Guys thing. And you should go read this. Buy it. Get it from your library. Do something, because you have to read this book. What you have done, unbeknownst to you, is you have entered into a covert contract with this person where to you it feels like you have poured your emotions onto her. You've been really, you've been really close to her, whatever. You have done things for her that no one else is going to do. Gave her money, buy her phones. Now, should you be doing that kind of stuff? Should she be asking you for that kind of stuff? I mean, that's kind of a different subject. I will say to that, no. So in some ways, you're right. But what I'm getting at is you have gotten into a covert contract with this person where the reason that it's called a covert contract is because she doesn't know it. And you possibly also don't know it, but you have gotten into a situation where you have done all of these nice things for this person. You have been so emotional with this person. You have gotten so connected with this person. And you believe, whether you want to or not, because I'm telling you, that because you have done all of these things for this person, then that person owes you something in return. Affection, a relationship, sexual gratification, these kinds of things. And so when she's telling you, when she rejects you because she doesn't see you that way, I'm sorry you got brother-zoned, that sucks. But look, I mean, you guys are childhood friends. So when she tells you that she's not interested in you like that, you get upset because in your mind you're thinking, I had a contract with you. I did all of these things for you. Look, there's no other reason why I would have done all of these things to impress you, shared all of my feelings with you. There's no other reason why I would pursue you. So obviously, I did all of those things for you because I'm expecting a relationship in return. And that's why you're pissed off. Are you justified in lashing out at this person? No. Look, and The situation of should you have spent money on her, and how do you feel about having spent money on her and then being brother zoned, those are, I know those kind of feel the same, but they are different situations. Someone who is a real friend to a person and expects nothing in return would do that for a person, a real friend. Someone who is really concerned about someone else's well-being would lend them money. Now, there might be a situation where she would have to pay it back, or she would have to eventually buy the phone from you. I mean, that's reasonable to ask that. But you can't be in this situation where you do all of these things for a person and then secretly, to yourself, whether you know it or don't know it, which you will discover through this book, is that you felt that you were owed something from this person and then that person didn't give it to you, and that's why you're upset. Distance yourself from this person. You're already overseas from this person. I mean, the fact that just that alone is like a, come on, dude. She's living her own life. She just got a free phone. She's using it to text other guys. Listen, I'm not trying to blackpill you or anything, but like, yeah, you should distance yourself from this person. Check out this book that I'm talking about. If you've already read it, this is what that thing is. That's a covert contract. That's what that is. So understand that that is what happened here. I'm sorry that this happened to you. That really sucks. But understanding what just transpired is going to help you in the long run. Understanding what those covert contracts are and stopping yourself from doing those things is going to help you in the long run, because then you will be able to come from a place of authenticity when you're doing things like buying a phone for a person or lending people money or sharing feelings with a person, because that will come from who you actually are and you're doing that out of the goodness of your heart rather than trying to get a relationship out of somebody. Irony. I, 31M, met a girl, 31F, in the 10th grade. Instantly attracted to her, so I mustered up the courage to ask her out. Rejection followed, and I was like whatever about it. Remained friends and have been there with each other through good and bad times. It wasn't the forefront, but in my back pocket I always kinda liked her. So fast forward to the last couple years and I go through a horrible breakup. I'm depressed AF and not feeling or thinking about love. Me and said friend talk every day and fortifies our already 10+ year friendship. Randomly, one day, the topic comes up about marriage. We already made the pact way back when that if anything, we would link up by 40. Well, after a little bit of convo, it turns out she wants me to come visit her to consummate. Now, after being in the friend zone so long, it didn't even feel real and still doesn't. Basically, all I'm saying is that you gotta live life and don't worry so much about labels, because we're all people who wanna bang. It's all just a matter of time. Good luck. What the fuck? Dude, you got 9 more years, dude. She's trying to... Alright. She's trying to consummate. Oh, I don't... Okay, congratulations, dude. I guess I'm happy for you. I would just say, wrap it up. Be careful. This, Hey, you know what? Maybe it could lead to something beautiful. I'm too cynical, right? Maybe it could be amazing for you. So, I hope that it does, but be careful. But yeah, I get that. I get that notion. We're all people who just want to bang, right? That's fine. Whatever. Okay. Thank you. That's going to be it for this edition of Stories from the Friend Zone. I hope you enjoyed it. If this helped you out, throw a like, throw a subscribe. That would be great. That'd be awesome. I have a whole series of shit where I do this. So yeah, the website is friendzone.me. Check that out, and we'll see you later.